The algorithm starts to gaslight you and you start to think, maybe I really don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I really am a one-hit wonder, or I really can't figure this out. That's not true. I'm telling you, it's not true.
Welcome back to another episode of the Social Army podcast. I'm your host, Bryce, and today I have a guest that you guys should all know and love. She's been on here once before as actually our very first guest on this podcast, so that is amazing. And for those of you that might be curious, it is Kaylee, and Kaylee is awesome. And today we're going to be talking about some kind of mindset things and just overall what it's like to really be a TikTok shop affiliate, how to balance that with your regular everyday life as well, because this can be a really challenging thing to do, especially when you get really good at this and you make it something that's full time. It can consume your life just like that. Or if it's not full time just yet, it can still consume your life just like that and take precedence over a lot of other things. So we want to talk about that and just kind of go a little bit more into detail on how you can better fit this into your life in the way that works for you. Now, before we get started, like always, I want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. This is not financial advice. So anything we talk about in this podcast in regards to finances or money or anything of that nature is not advice to you. We are not financial advisors. Also, the results that you see in these episodes and the results that we talk about are also not typical. So please do not expect to watch one of these episodes, gain some knowledge, and go out there and immediately hit that home run right off the bat. Not saying it doesn't happen. There's unicorns out there. Okay. But the results that you see are not typical results, but they are possible. You just got to have the hard work and dedication to make it work for yourself. But without any further delay, and with all that being said, I want to introduce Kaylee for those of you who may not know who she is. Kaylee?
Hello. It has been
Hi.
my goal to make it back on this podcast, baby. Amber got it first, but I'm here second. But anyway, hi guys, I'm back. If you haven't seen my first podcast episode, the first episode of the Social Army podcast, you should watch it. That's another great one. Today we'll be hitting on different topics. We got a little bit of glow up of The Office, but I'm really excited, honestly, to catch up with Bryce and catch up with you guys about all this new stuff that we've learned about TikTok, so we can immediately give it to you to learn, because there's lots to know.
Lots. TikTok is an ever-changing platform. I think it changes more than, I might change my own socks.
Yeah.
You look at one thing one day and the algorithm is completely different a few hours later. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, that's why you have us. We're there to figure out all that stuff. We do all the heavy lifting. We are constantly posting and constantly going over the things that happen with inside TikTok. And we have our inside sources because Social Army is an agency. So we get a little bit of extra credit there. But yeah, so Kaylee, I'd like to dive in a little bit on some of the things that you've been noticing more recently on, maybe shifts in mindsets and things of that nature. If you want to kind of jump into that.
Yeah. And you guys might have to be a little patient with me today. I'm still getting over a cough. I feel like everybody's coughing right now. We're filming this in February. So please be patient if I do trip over my words.
The flu has been horrible
Yeah.
over the past 2 months. So it's okay. I feel it.
Yeah. And speaking of, I'm very thankful for this job, and that I was able to take a whole week to rot in bed because I still made money. I still made freaking money. That's insane to me.
That's the beautiful part about it. Real quick, Kaylee, before you jump into the whole mindset thing, would you mind introducing people to who you are first and give them kind of a rundown on how you got started with TikTok Shop, how this changed your life, and kind of what got you to where you are today? Just a quick recap.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Kaley. I randomly found this guy watching his TikTok live last year in February. I was working as a barista, and I would live in a really small town, and I'd be cooking dinners at night, scrolling on TikTok, seeing this bearded guy being like, what the heck is this TikTok shop? Is this guy online scamming people? What is this Social Army? And I decided to give it a shot because I did have the amount of followers that I needed. Little did I know it would completely take off and completely change my life. I was able to quit my job as a barista, quit all my other jobs, and do this full time. And last year, 2024, I started doing TikTok Shop in March. From March to the end of 2024, I was able to take home $250,000 in commission, which was insanity. and I crossed over $1 million in sales. And it wouldn't have been without meeting this guy, Bryce, and also learning everything that I learned from Social Army about how to really make TikTok Shop work. So I am a dietitian. There's my degree rotting in the windowsill, but I was able to make more money with this, probably 4 times as much as what the average dietitian salary is. And the opportunity's here. So I took advantage of it.
And you're one of the few that actually takes the advantage and runs with it.
Yeah. Well, I don't have
You
any
ran
kids, and I do have a husband that has a steady job with benefits. So I'm very lucky in that regard. Not everyone has that chance. But since I had the time freedom and the opportunity fell in my lap, I was like, who knows how long this will be here? Everyone was saying this is like how good drop shipping was when drop shipping started.
Oh,
This is like, Amazon when it was brand new. And I was like, if it's really that good, I'm gonna go for it.
and you did, and you made a wonderful video that popped off as your first big one, and it was great. I mean,
Yeah.
it set a trend for so many other people to follow, and so many other people were able to find success behind that. And you've got a community of individuals now that look up to you and look at you for the advice, and that's one of the best things about this is being able to learn it, take it in, and be able to return that favor by teaching others how to do it. So
And,
that's
we're going to
awesome.
talk about mindset today. And I'm always, obviously, I'm biased, but I always say Social Army is the only reason I don't quit this thing. This thing is hard on your mental. It really is. Bryce says a lot too, but it presents a new, weird type of challenge. If you think it's normal for any human psyche to stare at their own reflection all day, it's not. So we're going to talk about some of that, but I am really thankful for the community being there through the ups and downs. And we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and lead into that whole mindset thing. But congratulations, first and
Thank you.
foremost, on everything you've been able to achieve. Congratulations on the new office space, the revamp of the office space.
Hell yeah.
And congratulations on being able to actually take control over everything financially. I love that. So let's dive into some of that mindset stuff. I want to hear what you have to say because that's one of my favorite topics. I'm all
Yeah.
about that.
It was not one of my favorite topics about 60 days ago. I can't laugh, but so Bryce just hit on, I had a really big viral video in July. I haven't had a video that big since, right? That doesn't mean I haven't made any money. Obviously, I made a killing
Right.
in 2024. But this TikTok shop thing, it is never steady. Actually, to be honest, you guys, Amber is the steadiest income earner I've seen on TikTok. Nobody really
Ever.
has that steady of an income. Everybody's is all up, down, all over the place. Mine is probably one of the most severely up and down. And I'm sure my links for my pages will be in the description. You guys can go check out my stats from 2024 and truly see how up and down it was. But when it came down to, okay, so July was a really big high, and then August was lower, and then September was lower, and then October was lower, and then November was lower, and then December was lower. That really starts to wear on you,
It
especially
hurts.
when you do this full time. I mentioned in my last podcast, in May, things were starting to get lower and lower and lower, and the algorithm starts to gaslight you, and you start to think, maybe I really don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I really am a one-hit wonder, or I really can't figure this out. That's not true. I'm telling you, it's not true. That is how TikTok works. And
Yep.
Bryce is right. This shit changes more than the freaking stock market. Like, it's almost
Yeah.
like working on Wall Street. You see how stressed those people are? So
Yep.
it's really, really, really important that we start to create boundaries around what we expect so we're not, constantly disappointed, and boundaries around how much TikTok is really running our lives, because you will just, I let it, to be honest, you guys, I let it run me into the ground in November and in December. And I started to get really depressed. Amber also brought up a similar story. During Black Friday, she felt very burnt out. That's kind of what has led her on this whole journey to, developing better mindset tools. While Amber was growing and flourishing and really coming out of it, I was driving myself into the ground. And it got to a point where now it was starting to affect my life outside of TikTok. I wasn't sleeping normally. I was having a really piss poor attitude, even to the point where Bryce was reaching out to me, Stan was reaching out to me, Gary was reaching out to me, checking me, because I had a really shit attitude. I was letting it run my life. So that's really what I wanted to bring up and talk to you guys, because number one, it is normal. It is normal. And number two, if you don't put reins on it, it will take over your experience and it will ruin it. That's really what I wanted to bring up and what I wanted to highlight, because now I've finally gotten out of it. Now I can finally just smile. But in a way, when you see this big money, it's almost like a gambling addiction because you see how much is out there. It's so, I mean, Bryce, I'm sure you feel this like serotonin, this dopamine when you see this big money come in. And then if it's not there next month, you feel like, you know?
It's almost it's a disappointment more or less on yourself, because it's like, how did I accomplish this last month? But here we are this month and I've done a fraction of that. What's going on? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything wrong. It's the fact that this platform changes daily, weekly, monthly. What worked last week isn't going to continue to work this week. And if it does, don't go trying to fix something that's not broken until it is. Then try to reinvent it, or not reinvent it, but then try to rediscover what does work. See, the problem with this is, like you said, it's like a gambling addiction. You see these big highs, those aren't your normalities at all. Those are your highs, right?
Mhm.
You've got to find that average where you lay. And for me on TikTok, I don't know about for you currently, but my averages on those months where I didn't have those big explosive videos or multiple videos pop off at once were right around that $5,000 to $15,000 mark. Was right in there, because I had a lot of videos that had overlay, and then I had other videos that did okay. They didn't catch the major viral train, but right in between that mark, I could consistently expect TikTok to give me between all my pages anywhere between 5 and 15 grand. That's fantastic money.
Mhm.
But it's not the $100,000 that I saw my very first month doing this, right? It's not that 50 grand that I saw in November. It's not that 60 grand that I saw in December. It's not that. But those aren't your normalities. And the problem with this is TikTok gaslights you into thinking, holy shit, I did it. I can do it again. You're not wrong. You can. But the odds of repeating it month in, month out, every single time, and making those 50, 60, 70K months every single month are slim to none.
Yeah.
Because the only thing consistent with TikTok is that it is inconsistent.
Yeah.
And you're never going to have those consistencies all the way through. And if you do, good for you, because you have found something that works and you're that unicorn. It's not always going to be that way for the 95% of affiliates that do this. There's a small group that will see that. And there's a couple of creators out there who are fantastic at staying very consistent. Amber being one of them, Matt Kaley being another, Allured Beauty. A lot of you guys know who that is. That's Allie. She's another one. But the difference between a lot of these creators too is that they will post 20, 30, 40 videos in the day across multiple different accounts. And that's where a lot of that comes in. But at the end of the day, are you yourself able to do that? Because I know for a fact I can't.
And I
I'm
can't
not that
either.
person.
And there's no shame in that. There's no, if you're better if you do this and you're worse if you do that. And this is why, I mean, listen to us talking about this, guys. This is why we give you disclaimers, because even we need the damn disclaimers. Even we need to be
100%.
reminded that not every, like, we're not earning at that, you know, top earning potential all the time. It can absolutely still happen. I've absolutely still made life-changing money. But that's why it's so
1000%.
important to work on your mindset. Unless you want to end up like freaking Jordan Belfort in Wolf of Wall Street and ruining your life, right? Which, by the way, I now have figured out we have our own Jordan Belfort in a good way in Social Army by the name of Christian, because that guy is literally Jordan Belfort. I loved that podcast
Christian's
episode
crazy. I
so
love
much.
Christian. He's awesome.
That was I watched that one 2 times in a row. So you guys should go watch that a couple episodes back if you haven't seen it. But you don't want to ruin your life like that by becoming addicted to money, because you can. You can.
And money is a necessary, right? It's a necessary evil. We all need it. We all want it. You need it to live. You need it to survive. You need it to do anything, right? And at the end of the day, don't allow TikTok to be the thing that makes you, you know, hate doing it, because that's all you're striving for is those big, big months. Take anything you make from it. Hell, if you made $500 last month on TikTok, guess what? That's a car payment. That's half your rent, probably. That's groceries. That's 4 cartons of eggs. Kidding. That's
Only 2. Only 2 cartons.
Oh yeah, 2. That's, you know, that's money. That's extra money you didn't have before. I tell people all the time, I don't give a shit if it's 50 cents. I don't give a shit if it's $10,000 in the day. I want to see the wins that you make, because you're doing better than 99% of the people that won't even try to make $1 on the internet. The majority of people think TikTok Shop is a scam. You know how many people shop on this platform? Over 100 million a month. It's not a scam.
Yeah.
It's something that people utilize, and it's becoming very, very normal for people to shop on this app. And what's becoming even more normal is the fact that more and more people are opening their eyes to the possibilities of making money on the internet. And it's a lot easier to do today than it was just 3 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
TikTok has bridged that gap for just the everyday average individual to jump on here, post a video about a real experience that they're having, attach a product link to it, and make $1 from it. It's never been easier.
No.
Let me rephrase. It's never been more simple, but it's not easy to do. It is a little bit of a difficult learning curve if you've never made content and if you've never sold anything before. So there are learning curves, but it's never been more
Yeah.
simple to make money on the internet than it is right now.
I shared a video recently on my teaching page about like my week earnings from a good week that I had. And obviously those
Mhm.
videos blow up because everyone wants to know how, or they're saying
When?
congrats. And I say this with love. I say this not to be rude, but I got some comments of people saying, I wish I had that. I've only made $14 in 4 months. And sometimes I go and I check out these pages. I'm not kidding you guys. Every one of those comments comparing themselves in a negative way, I actually took stats. One person had posted 3 shoppable videos ever. One person had only posted 4 shoppable videos for the month of February. It's February 25th, by the way. I had posted 192. Another person had only posted 20 shoppable videos for the whole year. It's not a fair comparison because
No.
we are putting out video after video after video after video. Literally, I'm averaging 8 to 10 videos a day. So you can't compare yourself. But also, I tweeted about this. I said, it's like complaining that you can't run a marathon and the only training you're doing is walking around the block. You got to
Yep.
put in more practice. And I'm not going and commenting that directly to those people because those people might not be in social army. Those people might not know what it takes to really practice and put forward your best effort. They might not know. They might just expect like, I'm going to start TikTok shop. I'm going to become a millionaire overnight, which is not true. But for those of you that are educating yourselves and are listening to this podcast, please know it does take work and it does take perseverance.
It does. And comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to somebody else who has the success because they're on chapter 22. You're on your chapter 1. There's no way you can compare yourself to that person in any way, shape, or form if you haven't been doing it at the same level that they have for the same amount of time that they have. If you started a year ago and you posted 10 videos a day and followed the trends and took the training and took the advice and did everything that you were supposed to do and you still saw no results, which I would find very hard to believe, by the way, then there's an issue, right? It could be an account problem. It could be the way that you grew your account. There's a few different things that it could be reasons of that. But if you're the type that wants to try to compare yourself, and again, I say this with love as well. I'm not trying to demean or degrade anybody, but if you're the type that tries to compare yourself to somebody who's successful in this journey, but you're not doing the same thing that they're doing to be that successful person, you have no right to compare yourself to them.
Yep.
It's quite simply that. And I don't mean to say that as a dick. It's just the truth. If you
We're
want
saying
to
it to save your mental because you'll drive yourself
100%.
nuts. So
100%.
one of the things I wanted to share on here today, I really struggled with a quite negative mindset in November and December, to the point where, I'm a pretty positive person, but to the point where I had other social army members reaching out to me saying, hey girl, even Bryce texted me, keep your chin up. And I had a hard time even accepting that advice because I felt so negative because this is what I did. And this, I bet some of you are doing this too when you're on TikTok. You're scrolling on TikTok late at night thinking, I'm doing product research. I'm doing market research. I'll save the videos that I find inspirational for TikTok shop. But all you're doing is comparing yourself to other people. So I was struggling with sales November, December. I would scroll through TikTok. I'm watching other people's videos. This is how much I made on TikTok shop. I'm like, God, they're doing something and I'm doing it wrong. And I'm so stupid. And I would start to have these really negative thoughts about myself. It's always late at night when I'm tired and I should go to bed. And
Yep.
I feel like I was trying, but I really wasn't trying. I was sitting there scrolling. I was sitting there brain rot, What I really should have done is time to put the phone down. Time to put the phone down. All I'm doing is negatively comparing myself, having really mean self-critical thoughts, and I'm not doing anything to help myself. I'm not drafting a video. I'm not posting a video. I'm not actually doing any work. So I had to create a boundary for myself that was As soon as I start to have a negative thought about myself when I'm scrolling, really, it's like once it goes to a certain time of night where I'm just tired, we're done. We're done with TikTok for the day. We're not doing any more work. Don't try to convince yourself that you're doing any work. I was spending too much time consuming and not enough time creating. And that's what a lot of you out there are doing too.
Yep. Consuming is not something you need to do nearly as much if you want this to be successful. That'll hurt you a lot more than anything else. And I'm guilty of that. And I'll admit it. I have 8 hours of screen time sometimes in a day on TikTok. And it's a combination of probably 4 hours in bed, sitting there until 1, 2 in the morning, just scrolling. And then again in the morning when I wake up, or throughout the afternoon to avoid the videos that I need to make.
Yep.
And I'll tell myself sometimes, just like Kaylee said, I'm doing the research. No, the hell I'm not. I'm sitting there passing time because I don't want to do what needs to be done in order to move forward. But
Yep.
I need to spend less time consuming the content and creating the content because I'm a very creative creator when it comes to it. And I've set multiple trends on this platform for other affiliates to follow. When you get too far ahead of yourself thinking, oh, I can just do it again, and you stop practicing that craft, that's when you become bad at that craft. That's when you start to fall out and you think that you're washed out.
Yeah.
Odds are you're not. You just stopped fine-tuning the craft. You know, a violin will sit in a case for months on end. What happens to that violin? It slowly starts to get out of tune. What do you have to do when you pull it out to play it again? Fine tune it, get it back to sounding pitch perfect. It's the same thing with anything else that you do, whether it's creating content, selling, talking to the camera, keeping ideas fresh in your head, coming up with hooks, coming up with call to actions, coming up with ways to entertain the audience that you're putting this content out for. You have to continuously practice that craft or you will get stale. You will fall out of tune with everything that you're doing. And your
The other
mindset.
thing that I'm going to tell you guys that I told myself, y'all need to listen to Bryce, okay? Bryce was texting me months ago saying, and I even on the podcast, he says it's almost every single podcast. Manifestation is real. Your
Oh my
words are
gosh.
your reality. I didn't want to freaking hear that shit because you know what I was saying about myself? My content sucks. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I suck at this. I suck at that. And I'm very thankful for the Social Army team and members for calling me out when I needed to hear it because those words do become reality. And I had a really hard time hearing that feedback from Bryce that, you know, I do have to watch my words. But he's right. He is right. And that's another thing I see in and out of our community is people really shitting on themselves and on their content. The more you do that, the more you create that reality.
Whatever you tell yourself is true, whether it's positive or negative. Either way, you're right. Figure out which right you want to fall into. Okay. If you say you can or you can't, you're right. Which one do you want to choose? Right. I come up with several different things for that all the time. But at the end of the day, your words harm you more than the person next to you. If you allow their words to get into your thoughts, guess what? Now that's your words replaying in your head over and over in a skewed way of your understanding of what they meant, which will consistently drag you down. I experienced this my whole life. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I was severely bullied in high school. And I experienced this my whole life. I allowed everyone else's opinions and words to affect me, and then I turned them into my own, which were more harsh than what was being spoken to me. And then I fell into a depression, right, for a long, long time. And I still get into that mode every so often. But at the end of the day, I have to look back and realize everything I have around me is due to the simple fact that I believed I could. It was straight manifestation. I'm not here today because I didn't believe I could be here today. I'm here today doing the things that I'm doing because I believed wholeheartedly with every ounce of my body that I could make it happen. And not only did I believe it, I visualized it. I wanted my dream PC. Guess what? A year later, I built it and it's sitting on my desk right now. I wanted a house that was big enough to fit me and my family. Guess what? A year later, I envisioned myself in it and we got it. And now we're here comfortable, right? I wanted a community where I could uplift thousands of other people and teach them how to do the things that we do on a daily basis. Where are we at? Social Army exists, right? I wanted to be somebody that people looked up to because I didn't have anyone to look up to myself. Where are we at? For a lot of people, I'm that person. Now, for me, I still don't believe it's real because it's crazy how well manifestation works. But
Yeah.
whatever you feel and believe, you can actually make happen. You just have to put enough focus on it, and you have to visualize yourself being there.
Yeah.
And nothing comes overnight. You're never going to have it overnight, but your mindset plays a big role in all of it. And
I
I'm
will
not saying be positive 24/7. I'm sorry, hold on one second. I'm
no,
not
no,
saying be
go for
positive
it.
24/7. You're going to have bad days. Embrace those bad days. Take those bad days in. Love those bad days, because without those bad days, without those failures, you will never get to where you want to go, because setbacks bring about progression. You need those. You have to have those, because those remind you where you don't want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to, I want to reemphasize that advice. That's why I bring it up, you guys, because when it's easy to hear this advice when things are going okay, it's a bit
Really
harder
easy.
to accept it and apply it when things are not. And I kind of rejected this advice because I didn't want to hear it. And I see, I really look up to people in our community like Amber that seem to have such a good grip on mindset, boundaries, spirituality, positivity, whatever you want to call it. But I had a hard time internalizing them because it's not really my personality. But I want you to really take this advice and be serious about it. A lot of this manifestation, visualization, affirmations, they sound absolutely whack when you first say them because you don't
They
believe them.
sound so cheesy. They
Yeah,
sound so
they
cheesy.
sound like lies. And that's part of the point of affirmations, is that you say it until it doesn't sound like a lie anymore. Someone, Melissa, actually, a Social Army member, reached out to me like when I first joined the community, and she spoke to me a lot about manifestation. I thought it was a bunch of woo-woo bullshit. That's kind of the person I am. But I decided to take her seriously because I was hurting for money. And every day I would say, I'm going to make $100,000 in this program in 3 months. And it sounded like bullshit. It sounded like the stupidest, dumbest, most outlandish thing you could ever think of. And every day I would say that, and I would say, I'm so thankful for every dollar that comes my way through this program. Every dollar. And by God, I could put the numbers, can put the statistics in front of your eyeballs. On my 100th day on TikTok Shop, I did make 100 grand. What? What? That shouldn't even be possible. And again, I'm not really a big manifestation girly guru, but I will not deny that it works. So even those of you that are more like the non-believers or whatever, a little bit more logical like me, take this seriously. Please, take it seriously.
I'm a logical person. I'm not a very religious person, but I'm a very, very logical person. I see things from a very logical perspective, right? If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. But there's some things in this world, some things in this universe that don't fucking make sense, and they're not meant to make sense. Embrace it.
Yep.
Let it happen. Because if the
Yep.
floodgates open and you start seeing an abundance of wealth, allow it to come into your life. Don't reject it. Don't be scared by it, because most people are. Most people are terrified and have no idea what to do after it happens. And that's where you fall off. That's where the gates close and it stops coming into you, right? Pause. Let it flow.
Yeah,
Let
but
it flow.
he's so right though. Even my dad is a very logical kind of person like I am. And even he's trying to retire. So he's kind of, hoping for all of his finances to align. By the way, my dad is a big supporter of this show. And he also says, Bryce, that you're very engaging. So support from Steve. Support from Steve.
Love that. Shout out,
Even
Steve.
my
Thank you, Steve.
dad has started to say, I'm ready to accept the good. And we make fun of him because it sounds cheesy and it feels cheesy. But you know what?
Probably not him either, you know?
But the shit works. The shit works. So take it seriously and please apply it, especially if you are going to dedicate to a social media journey, whether it's TikTok or something else, it is never going to be consistent and it is never going to be guaranteed. So you need to have good boundaries and practices around your mindset so you don't go insane, because it will happen. It happened to me. It happened to Amber. And now we've really worked. And yeah, Bryce is experiencing it too. We really have had to work quite diligently on our mindset in order to make this a long-term thing, or else we were going to burn out, you guys. So not everybody does this full time, and I understand that, but I just want to put this out there because it's an important reminder and maybe something that you've overlooked.
This applies to everything though, but something I want to highlight here real quick is you pulled yourself out of this rut, and where are you at now? You've got a
Yes.
couple of videos that are doing well. You've got a couple of things that are popping
And
off for
if
you.
you don't think all that happens for a reason, it does. It does.
Right.
It's when you stop pushing so damn hard and start letting things flow, like Bryce was saying, that all of this shit starts to align. Actually, this leads perfectly into the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is
Yeah.
passion products.
Yes.
So once I started to smile a little bit more, let go of a lot of this self-criticism, I started to say my affirmations again, which is I'm so thankful for every dollar that comes my way through this program. I stopped getting so cocky. I was getting a little bit cocky there, right? My content really started to flow a bit more naturally, and my passion started to come through. For myself, I mentioned it earlier, I am a dietitian. I'm very passionate about nutrition and fitness. And one of my favorite products to promote are food, beverage, and supplement because I could talk about it all day long. You know how they say this rule on TikTok? I'm sure some of you have heard this. Oh, you need to post 15 times on a product to really make it take off. You know what that really is, you guys? It's tricking you into practicing. It's tricking you into figuring out how to promote the product. So a lot of people think that they have to have a niche. Like Matt Kalla, you know, he does tech. Bryce likes to do tech. And I like to do food and beverage. But is it really a niche because TikTok's forcing you to post about one thing? Or is it a niche because you're damn good at talking about it and you're passionate about it and that passion is showing through? I would like to argue that things that you're passionate about and that you can promote well, you will naturally sell better. So that is what happened with me and my content and a product that's actually sitting right here. This, I did not plan it being right there. This is a supplement called Belly Welly, not sponsored in this case right here. I'm just talking about it because I want to, because this is the product that's popped off for me. The reason why it's popped off for me is because it is a fiber 4-in-1 product. If you know anything about nutrition, you know that fiber is very important and Americans don't get enough about it. I talk about this shit all day long when I was a dietitian. So when I made my videos on this, my passion came through, my expertise came through, and guess what? I sold a lot of them because it's something that I really care about. And that's the other thing I wanted to
Confidence.
bring up.
Confidence came through. That's one of the biggest things is confidence while creating content and selling. Sorry, I just wanted to highlight that because that's
No,
one of the
and
biggest
you're
things you
right.
have with it.
You're right though, because a lot of people we see in and out of our community think that they have to chase the next big thing, the next big thing. To be honest, you guys, let me think of a product. Like there's some products that I really don't give a shit about. I really don't. And I will not fake it for a video because guess what? You're
Oh,
not that good at faking it, hun. You're not that good at faking it. Unless you were a professional actor, in which case I don't know why you're doing TikTok shop. We're not that good at faking these things. So in my last podcast, I didn't know this at the time and I didn't emphasize this enough. But you don't have to chase the next big product just because it is trending. If you don't care about it, you're not going to sell it well. So,
don't promote it if you don't care about it. Seriously,
yeah.
only promote products that you have either experience in, positive experience preferred, and passion behind. It doesn't have to be a dying passion, right? But it just needs to be passion. I'm going to highlight something and I'll let you continue on that part. This is a timer. I don't have passion in timers. I give a shit less about timers, right? But what this timer does is allow me to utilize something called a Pomodoro technique. I've got really bad ADHD. I refuse to be medicated by Big Pharma because I have a very addictive personality. And I don't want to go down that road, right? This helps me stay on track. I use it every single day. And if you don't know what the Pomodoro technique is, it's just a technique where you block off certain segments, work for an X amount of time, give yourself an X amount of time for a break to allow your brain to get in all the dopamine it wants, and then go right back to working by resetting the timer. That right there is experience because it works for me. And two, I was flipping y'all off. And two, it's a product that I have passion within because I don't like standard medications for ADHD. And this helps with the ADHD. And I love helping other people manage that because it's something I've struggled with my entire life. But I'm
Mhm.
not like a diehard fan of timers. I hate them, but this works.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I like this product. I promote it. I've probably made 10 videos on it and it's finally starting to make sales.
Yeah. And here's another interesting thing. I get a lot of comments on my videos that people like my makeup or my makeup looks nice. So I'm like, oh, I should do makeup videos. I can't sell makeup to sell or to save my life, you guys. For whatever reason. To be honest, I don't care about makeup. Like it's kind of ironic, I guess, because I do like makeup, but I don't care about makeup. And to be honest, I don't care about fashion. So something that we had Giselle on. She's a great fashion creator. She does absolutely fantastic
Which is
videos.
awesome.
You put
Yes.
the same 5 products in front of Giselle and in front of me, Giselle will sell you on every single one. I can't because it's not my passion. So a lot of the time, we are chasing the next big thing when it comes to these products and not considering enough, do we actually care about the product? Even when it came to this, a lot of people were asking me, what product was it? What product was it? What product was it? I'm like, it's this, but please don't go run and buy it if you don't even care about it because you're not going to sell it well. And all you're going to do is waste your own time and money.
Every single time you try to follow a trend on a product or you look for that winning product that people are having great results with, if you don't have that same passion behind you or that same excitement or the same um what's the word, charisma that they have when posting those videos or creating their content, you're not going to see the same results as them. I can give you all of my winning products, you're not going to be able to go match my results. It's just
Yeah,
not how that works. Just because someone's got a product that's doing good, don't get me wrong, we don't gatekeep.
we
Let me
don't.
let me clear that up. Gatekeeping is fucking weird. That's not something we will ever do. Never have, never will. I will call you out on gatekeeping because I think that's the weirdest shit in the world. Why? Two, I will share all products, viral products. I'll find winning products. I'll throw them in the community and give them to you. Go make your content. But the ones who make it and actually succeed with it are the ones who have the experience with it, or the ones that can create good, engaging, captivating content that works, or have a vast amount of knowledge to speak on that product. There's no way I could go promote Belly Willy. I've got a container of it behind me. I have 2 of them. There's no way I can go promote it with confidence and actually make the sales that Kaylee does with it. Actually, funny enough, that Belly Welly is the same one that I got from that event in LA. And when we got back to Oklahoma, Jasper gave me his bag. I ran it over with my truck, and the Belly Welly exploded in the bag. So when I went to open the bag, that's all that splashed me in the face with all the Belly Welly powder, and I had a sneezing fit for like 10 minutes. So that would be like my hook with it. This is how I discovered Belly Welly was good for me, because I inhaled all the fiber through the dust in the air, and I was on the toilet for 10 hours. Like that would be like my hook for that style of video, and it'd be a one-off, right? But for me, there's no way I could take the Belly Welly and go confidently promote it, because I that's not me. Now, if you give me a pair of headphones, come on, all day long, I'll make some headphones go viral. I've got a 20 million view video on headphones that made me $76,000 on one video. Crazy.
Or, another one I think about is like car products. Like you
Yeah.
don't have, sometimes I hate talking about the fact that I'm a dietitian because I don't want to put the idea forward that you have to have an education in it. That's not necessarily true. You could just have experience with it.
All the
Someone who
experience.
has a big story, like Emily May is a big content creator in the TikTok shop space.
I love
She
her.
has very
Her content
captivating
is
videos
awesome.
on the pumpkin seed oil because she has a personal story with how it affected her hair loss. That's great. You don't need an education to speak about that. Bryce,
Nope.
I kind of brought up the car thing because Bryce worked in that industry. So he has a lot of stories and experience that he could share about that. And at the end of the day, you guys, if you really want to post a video on something, it's not like it's not like you have to pay to post it. It's not like it's a risk. We're just trying to warn you for the long term, how to really balance your time and energy.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is you mentioned the car business. I was in the car business for 10 years. I'm pretty sure most people know that, but for those of you that don't, it's all I did for a long time. I did it for a decade of my life, my whole adult life, pretty much, except for a little stint where I went and built wind turbines. But I've never made a single video that incorporates anything from the car business into my shop videos. Nothing at
And
all.
look at
I
and
have no
still
reason to.
look at how much he's made. You don't have
Right.
to.
No, like and I was just thinking about that. It's insane. I've made money on clothing. I've made money on headphones. I've made money on tech stuff. I've made money on food. I've made money on the most random shit. Hell, I even made money on supplements. I don't have a specified field of knowledge on any of that. I don't even have a formal education.
Yeah.
You don't need it to find that success. You really don't. You just got to have the experience. Selling your experience is one of the best things you can do, because the experiences you experience, they're not unique to just you. You might think they are, but they're not. You are not unique in the experiences that you have. You share those experiences with millions of other people. The thing is, are you going to get that experience across for other people, for the people who relate to you to see it? Are you going to make the content captivating enough to share that experience with those millions of other individuals? Because if you do, that's how you get good at doing this. Selling your experience with that product will take you so much further than trying to follow a trend and copying another video word for word on a product that's currently trending. Trends die fast.
And
Fast.
humans are just very good at picking up on bullshit,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to
100%.
TikTok. Again, it's not supposed to feel like ads. People don't want to scroll to see your ad. They want to scroll to hear a story, to be entertained, to be informed, to learn a tip, to hear something spooky or weird, right? That's why people
Not
scroll on
conspiracy though.
TikTok.
No, I'm kidding.
What'd you say?
I said not conspiracies though. No, I'm kidding. Those
I like a
conspiracy.
good conspiracy. That's my guilty pleasure. Hold on.
I feel that.
I
I'll go
told
down
you,
rabbit
don't make
holes
me laugh.
forever. I'm sorry. Sorry.
But anyway, one of the examples I wanted to give is Sherry. Sherry's a really successful TikTok affiliate, member of our social army team. She put me on to, some kids products. You guys got to promote these kids products. They're doing so well. I'm selling so many of them. I got a couple of them. I don't know what to say. I don't have any kids. I don't have any little cousins. I can't even fake it. And it's not to say, Sherry's just trying to be helpful and be an awesome community member. We love her for that. But it just taught me that it's like, okay, this just isn't the product for me. And that's okay. Other people can promote that product. I'm sure they'll do a great job, but it wasn't the best use of my time because it's like I just don't have the experience with it and my brain doesn't think that way because I don't have kids yet. So instead, why don't I lean more into what I really like? And you don't have to pick to promote 5 products or 100 products. It truly doesn't matter. But what I have seen is the more you practice promoting a product, the more comfortable and familiar you get with it, the more knowledgeable you are and the better your videos will do. So that could be a bit of encouragement to really lean maybe into less products that you know a bit better rather than more. And again, I don't really want to give any ultimatum tips because it really doesn't matter that much, but that's what I've seen and something that I've leaned into the more I've matured in my TikTok shop journey.
You have to though. I mean, and one of the things you leaned into really well, which I think got you kickstarted on that, was you don't have kids, right? So promoting products for children isn't for you, but you do have a husband.
I do.
And promoting products that are for your husband are a lot easier for you to do.
Yeah.
Hence the blanket. Your husband's a blue collar
Yep.
worker. Middle of summer, hot day, a cooling blanket. For those of you that don't know, had a really big video. She made $25,000 in commission in one day off of this video. It was a blanket, a cooling blanket. A lot of you guys probably have seen that video, didn't even realize it was her. And a lot of you probably seen a million different remakes of that same video with other people doing that skit. But what worked is she took what she had and utilized it properly. She had, it's not that it was a passion product, that it was an experience product, but what she did is she took the passion that she has between her and her husband and giving him, gifts and love and sharing love and things of that nature, and brought that blanket into a video and created a very engaging and captivating video that got people to watch. And it was cool because it's a blanket. What do blankets do? Typically they heat you up. This one's supposed to cool you. So it was a complete controversial style video that just blew up and worked, but she took the love that she had for her husband and made it work. If you're not married or if you don't have any of that, that's fine. If you have pets, lean into that, but find something that you like, find something you enjoy, find something you have passion in, and lean into that side of things. I'm a
Yes.
parent. I've done really well selling kids' toys, but I've also done really well selling things that are catered towards adults.
Yep.
It's you just have to find what you like. And it's a lot easier to make content based off of that instead of trying to be somebody that you're not.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think that's what we want to encourage at the end of the day is you
yeah.
don't need to fake it. You don't need to pretend like you're someone you're not.
No.
And you don't need to feel like, well, I can't because I don't have XYZ and I can't because I'm not interesting or I don't have the
Bullshit.
stories. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Bullshit. I
It's
used to
bullshit.
think I was the most dull and uninteresting person in the world. Fuck, I used to think people hated me because of how much I got bullied when I was a kid.
Hmm.
I didn't think anyone liked me. Then I became everyone's favorite, guy at the garage you'd go get stuff from. I can't really say too much about that, but and that's when people really started to flock towards me. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it wasn't that. But I always have this thing where I have really bad imposter syndrome. And but at the end of the day, there's so many people out there who will like you for who you are. You just got to let yourself shine. I say this all the time. Be unapologetically you. That's the only way you're really going to make content that's going to get people to watch you. People
Yeah.
like the raw, real version of people. We're tired of this fake shit. Nobody wants to see that fake shit. Nobody.
And a little plug again for the community is it's a really nice, positive place to exist on the internet. There's not a lot of
Yes.
really kind, accepting, encouraging places to hang out on the internet. Like I know firsthand. And I'm sure Bryce does too. And now we've really fostered a community where people, like, I loved to hear in Christian's episode that he gets so much positive reinforcement from other members of Live Academy and other members of the community. We are there encouraging each other. We are there rooting each other on. Even now, we have segments in our weekly meetings where we're just there to congratulate. Hey, we saw you did a great job this week. You hit a new milestone. That's the type of environment that we have in Social Army that I really love. Again, we are biased, but I couldn't do this journey without it. TikTok is hard on your mental. I was gonna say my brain was gonna say hard on your physical. I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's hard on your mental. It takes a lot of perseverance, creativity, just like, having that mental fortitude. And without Social Army, I think I would have burned out, to be completely honest with you guys. So if you're looking for that place where you need someone to, like, love you as you are, or encourage you where you're at, really, Social Army is the place to do it. And I say that with my full heart. I say that without like any ulterior motive, because it's true.
We have all walks of life in there. When I say all walks of life, I really mean it. We have people from different countries. We have every, race,
People
gender,
speaking all different
sexuality,
languages, like all sorts of
everything.
situations. Yeah, it's very cool.
Everything. There is not, and I'm a massive proponent of positivity because, my life was so negative for so long. I don't like that, but by nature, I'm kind of a negative person to myself, but to others, I hate it. I hate seeing it. And I will be the first one to stop negativity inside that community and straighten everyone out. I will make sure that that does not happen because that's not who we are. We're not there to bag on anybody. We're not there to talk shit on anybody. We're not there to bring anybody down, regardless of who they are or what they do. None of that. That doesn't fly with inside the community. I don't care if they try to bag on us. Guess what? Okay, that's fine. We're not there to bag on you. I'm not
No.
going to return the energy you're giving me in that sense because that's not who we are. Social Army is a place of just genuine positivity and genuine care for each and every single person that's inside there. And, I'll be the first to admit we grew very, very fast. And a lot of people seem to not really enjoy that factor about it. But when you create something that thousands of people want to be a part of, that just kind of comes with the territory. And we do everything we possibly can to make sure that we grow with the community to try to accommodate everybody and each person as we can. But at the end of the day, we're only human and we can only do so much. But I promise you, we are working very hard to make sure that Social Army is the number one place for positive feedback, for positive reinforcement, help, for what's the word I'm looking for?
Networking. That's what I like about
Well,
it.
networking's a big one, but it's like where you
Constructive criticism.
constructive criticism. Yes, that all day long, but we'll do it in a way that's not bringing you down, right? We want to be the number one place to teach you how to do all of this. And we want to be the place where you guys come for all the best resources possible. And we're doing everything we can to try to grow in that direction as quick as we can, while also trying to meet the demand of everybody else. But
yeah, we have our
I forgot
growing
where I was going with
pains,
this entirely.
but
Yeah.
we're always very receptive and accepting of feedback and always working to make it better. And that's really
Give me
all
your
we could
feedback.
ask.
Give us your feedback, bad or good. We can never improve if we don't know where we're lacking. And I think that's something that a lot of people are afraid to do, is give that feedback because they think, oh, they've gotten big. They know what they're doing. Shit. We're just walking the line with you. We're still trying to figure it out. Let us know, let us know what's not working. Let us know what is working. So that way we can put our energy in those areas. If you hate the way the community looks, if you hate the way I look, tell me. And we'll
No,
make something better.
Bryce is begging for more criticism. Listen to this. But to be honest, we had recently, we had someone that we interviewed in our community live sessions. She's one of the top earning affiliates in all of TikTok. And one of the first things she said was she listens to this podcast for motivation, and she's listened to every episode. Someone that He's like one of the experts out there, listens to this podcast and listens to episodes multiple times. If that doesn't tell you that this is a place that you'll want to hang out, this is a place of positivity and growth and just education, I don't know what does. Like, that's a huge compliment to us, I think, and I really look up to her. So I thought that was a huge, just awesome fact.
That was massive. And it's nice to hear that. And like I told her, I said, it's crazy to me that you do that, because for me, you know, I interview all these amazing people. I've interviewed you now. Well, I've had you on here now twice, and I've had Amber on here twice. I've had so many unique individuals on here, and nobody is the same. There's a different perspective from every single one of these episodes that you can take away. And it's just crazy to see. And the fact that so many people tune into this just to look at it for some motivation is an amazing thing, because you have all walks of life on here. You know, you have people who promote anything and everything from the bottom up and find success with it. And it'll give you, you might need to relate to somebody to find that missing piece that you didn't know you needed. And inside these podcasts, you might just find that piece. Yep. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
That's my final plug.
That's it.
We love it.
Kaylee.
We love it. And we love you, Bryce, for creating such an awesome space to hang out online, because there's not a lot of those these days. So I do really love our team. And I just I love the environment that exists in our community for sure.
It's literally the best. And if you're lucky, you might get to see Lincoln bio. He makes a surprise appearance every so often.
We're very family friendly in Social Army.
We are 100%. You come to the lives, you'll see people posting pictures of their families. We'll get, you know, down and deep with all that. Hell, we even interviewed somebody who was, it was Chris, who was on the brink of losing everything, and was able to find his way back in. And it got deep, real deep for a while there. And I'm not going to go into details about that. There's a live recording of that on WAP, but we are there for everybody, and we love it. Wouldn't have it any other way at all. Kaylee, I want to ask you if there was one last bit of motivation you want to pop out there before we get off here. We are approaching time.
Let's see. If you want motivation, you should listen to this whole podcast. You should listen to every episode. I will say that. If you want, I mean, really, I think what we hit on in this episode is that who you are as you are right now is interesting enough to make awesome money and make awesome impact on the internet. You don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to pretend to be anybody else. You don't need anyone else outside of you. Who you are right now is interesting enough and strong enough and smart enough to make awesome impact on the internet. Now, all you have to do is figure out how to unlock that side and how to show it genuinely, right? And that's what we help people do. That's what we love to do. I love helping people do that every single day. So that's the motivation that I want to leave you with, is you are enough just as you are. And there's nothing outside of you that you need to seek other than supportive community, right? That might be what you need, but you are not missing anything. It's not that you're not smart enough. It's not that you're not hardworking enough. It's not that you're not, cool enough. You don't have the right access. No, you really are enough. Just you existing right now. That's the motivation I want to give. I hope all the tips that we've given in this podcast have been helpful to you. And we would love to hear your questions, comments, feedback in the comments.
Let us know. And to kind of piggyback on that real quick, I first started doing this sitting in an office at a job that I hated. I didn't know who I was in that regard. I didn't know who I wanted to be. Hell, I still don't know who I want to be, but I do know what I'm here to do now, and that's to just get better at being who I am every single day by 1%. You have enough about you to get people interested in what you have to say, as long as you put it out there with conviction and confidence. Get on that camera. Don't be afraid to show your face. Does not matter what you look like. I promise you that. Get out there, post the videos, grow your page, get into the TikTok Shop affiliate program, get the products that you actually like, and make the videos based off of your own personal experiences. And I promise you, you will start to see those results. Don't try too hard, because the second you try way too hard and you allow desperation to be that driving factor, you will fail 10 out of 10 times. Get out there and just do it. And how do you start? You just start. There's no how to start. You just start. That's it. Kaylee used to come into my lives and say, margarita or margarita. Now she comes into my lives. Hey, which product should I be looking at this week? I don't know, Kaylee. What do you like? That's it. You know, you'd be surprised on how this can change you as a person once you really lean into it, allow it to work for you. So that's about it. Kaylee, I really appreciate you being here today. I think this is one of my favorite episodes so far. We really got down and deep with some of the mindset things and just overall, I really hope this gives you guys that little burst of motivation to get your discipline back in order, because motivation doesn't last. It comes and goes. And to be quite honest with you, motivation's a little bit shitty because it'll last for an hour and it's gone the second something happens. But hopefully this got enough fire under your ass to go out there, create a couple of drafts, maybe look at some videos or look at things in a different perspective and change the way that you're doing it now if it's not currently working for you. But if it is, don't stop. Keep going, and you're doing great. Outside of that, I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And if you watched all the way to the end, congratulations. You finally made it through a 55-minute episode of me and Kaylee ranting.
We are long-winded.
No. We are. And that's where ADHD comes in. So, but anyway, Kaylee, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me again, Bryce. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. We will see y'all later. If you want to check out other episodes, click the profile down below. If you're on YouTube, subscribe if you haven't, please. Or go check us out on Spotify. But we will see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.